There lived a Chinese man in Mexico. He had a farm and lived in a hut. His name was Chico. He was known by everyone in the community because of his hut. He lived alone with his little dog. Chico had relocated to Mexico when he lost his parent. He had suffered so much and had nothing. He thought one day to join the train going to Mexico. He thought he would get a better life. He arrived in Mexico and didn't have where to stay. He met a man who offered to help him. The man gave him a plot of land and a few pieces of currency. Chico decided to build a hut and cultivate the land he was given. He planted several crops, and when it was harvest time, he sold them at a lower price to the market women. This made him have money to barter for himself. Everyone knew him as a kind person, and he was used to wearing his hat, stick, and a shirt and shorts. He goes about with his little dog. There lived a young girl named Judith. Judith lives in Mexico City, and she stays close to the Chinese farmer. Judith would always peep from her window to watch the Chinese farmer. Judith wanted to have a conversation with him. She thought of how it would happen. "He is such a hard-working man," Judith will always say to herself. One day, Judith was coming back from school. She decided to greet the Chinese farmer. He smiled at her and told her he always saw her coming from school. "How are you doing?" he said to her. "I am doing well," Judith said to him as she bent down to touch his dog. The Chinese farmer told Judith a story. She was happy and didn't want to leave. She knew her parents would be back any moment from then. She quickly left and ran home, but promised to keep in touch with the Chinese farmer. The Chinese farmer would always give her some fruits from his farm. One day, Judith told her father about the Chinese man. She pleaded with her father to allow him to stay in the house. Her dad had a spare room in the quarters. Her father agreed to her request. She was so happy and ran to tell him the news. "Now you can have a better place to stay, instead of staying in that hut," she said with so much excitement. The man thanked her and was very happy with her. He moved into the house. Everyone was happy, and they accommodated him. He no longer lived in the hut. He got a better place to stay. He goes to his farm from there and comes back to his house. He found a new family, and he loved them.